Welcome back to the Out of Rough podcast. My name is Nate, and welcome back to my co-host Jake. Jake, how we doing today?
Nate, we're doing good. Quick shout out to Sauce if he's listening. Thanks for filling in last week, and shout out to all three of us, but especially the two of you who talked about it. Kota Kaneko, getting it done for all three of us there. So a good DP World Tour week, and then absolute cinema on the PGA Tour. One that was wide open until the very end, and then you have Russell Henley go birdie, birdie, birdie to force a playoff with Eric Cole, and then birdie the playoff hole. So he birdied four of his final four holes to win. The epitome of it's right there in front of you, and he jumped and took it. Eric Cole, even par should have never been enough to win. Lucky to get into a playoff, and then just I mean, Henley was on fire. There was no stopping that guy. So huge win. A lot of emotion showed on the green from him. So, I love to see it. Just a good week overall. No one in the Discord had Henley, but just if you're a golf fan, very enjoyable tournament. One of the best every single year. A challenging course. Just a lot of good things to say about the Chuck Schwab.
Yeah, Russell Henley, we knew he had this type of killer mentality. I mean, we saw a bit of it at the API last year, correct? But not to this level where he came and stole the tournament. I believe Eric Cole was like minus 750 to win at one point with a few holes to go. And then Russell Henley comes out of nowhere and wins that event. And you kind of got a feel for Eric Cole, though, who's been a professional since I think 2009, hasn't won on the PGA Tours, had a handful of runner-ups now, most notably this one in the playoff, and of course, a 23 Honda Classic against Chris Kirk, another playoff where he sailed the green from the green side and went on to lose that one as well. But got a feel for the guy, but he's getting himself the chances, and Russell Henley another chance, like you just said, of or instance, I guess you should say, of coming and getting it, and he came and got it, and I didn't even cross my mind, watching it. And then all of a sudden, Russell Henley is like tied for the lead. I'm like, where and how did this even happen? Because I haven't even been, you know, noticing any of this. And all of a sudden, he's there and goes on to win. So a great, like, it's not a signature event, but a signature victory for Russell Henley in his, career to do something like that at a golf course such as, the Charles Schwab and the Colonial Country Club, which again was a fantastic host. I believe from top to bottom, the golf world this entire week had fantastic tournaments. You talked about Kanaka at the uh at the
Austrian
Austrian Alpine
Alpine.
Open. What a
Yep.
fantastic event that was as well. A first year host course that turned out phenomenal. And, luck was on our side with that one, right? With the chip in on 15 or 16, then 18, clubs up to take water completely out of play, hits the grandstand or something, and then bounces clear back across the green. And if the rough wasn't as thick as it was, that would have been a water bomb. It would be a completely different story. But luck was on our side, and he had himself a day and got that done. Again, all three of us saw starting this last week, and Jake and I with a crossover there. Hit another winner on the LPGA tour at the events escaping me, right? But it was victory. It was just Celine Boudier got it done there. So another two P or my first two P of the season, not two P or two-time winner on the same day. JJ Spawn did give me a run for my money on the Charles Schwab late into Sunday. Putting, of course, putting's always his downfall, and got the best of him that day. Very well could have, won that event himself, but neither here nor there. Two winners, crossover for all of us out of the rough guys. So we move forward. This week we are at the Memorial Tournament at Muirfield Village on the PJ Tour, the DP World Tour, the KLM Classic at the International. If you're looking for more golf, we do have that on outoftherough.com. Of course, the U.S. Women's Open this week. We have Live Golf Andalusia as well. From top to bottom, Corn Ferry Tour events, Hotel Planner Tour events. Jake, we'll talk about more about that here soon. But yeah, Jake, before we do hop into things, we're on you on social media.
Yep, you can follow me on X at JakeOOTR, where I post all my outright betting cards. Make sure you give me a follow there. You could also join the Out of the Rough Discord. It is completely free with no hidden paywalls. We have over 275 members, ranging from diehard golf fans to professional gamblers, all sharing insights that make an awesome resource to have at your fingertips every single week. Nate runs a community wager tracker in the Discord where he compiles everyone's picks into a clean list. It's great for seeing who the community is backing and celebrating the wins. Quick shout out to Caddy Cashin, ML Kid 945, Sauce, Nate, and myself for hitting Kota Kaneko last week at the Austria Alpine Open. Nate and I also share exclusive content in the Discord, including my tournament and round matchups, along with Nate's first round leader bets. If you want the link to join, reach out to either of us and we will get you the link to join that. Don't forget to check out OOT Rough for our weekly articles. Andrew covers the Hotel Planet Tour and Corn Ferry Tour. Nate covers the PGA Tour, DP World Tour, Live, and LPGA, and I cover the PGA Tour with some DFS content. You could also find Nate's Strokes Gained Putting by Grass Type on the website, another completely free tool that is worth checking out on the website. It's a great resource to have. I check it every single week. I check its my models. It's just great for backup there. So again, be sure to check out the website ootrough.com.
Be sure to follow myself, Nate, on Twitter at NateOOTR. Be sure to follow Out of the Rough and also on social media. Search us on there. If you're watching this on YouTube or listening on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, there is a subscribe button. If you would please hit that. That helps us out tremendously in getting this podcast out in front of more people. We would appreciate all of that. OTRough.com. You can also find a sign up for the newsletter on there, weekly newsletter where we compile each and everything we offer weekly into one convenient location, including exclusive placement charts on that newsletter. You can also find the Out Rough One and Done, a weekly game for the PGA Tour, DP World Tour, pick a different golfer each week. Prize money is scoring. It's a fun way to play along and some prizes on the line. Beyond that, you know everything else Jake said. I'm probably forgetting something. But yeah, the Discord. Let's switch back to Discord. Exclusive content, as Jake mentioned there. I hit Taylor Moore solo first round leader 2 weeks ago, 90 to 1. So exclusive content like that in that Discord, and Jake's matchups have been lucrative all season long. All right, Jake, let's get going here. We have the Memorial Tournament. What is the actual Memorial Tournament presented by Workday? Of course, Muirfield Village or Jack's Place. This is the crowning jewel of Jack Nicklaus's post-playing career. This is his claim to fame. I know he's designed many golf courses, but this is it. And this is a golf course that, when you think of the term picturesque or pristine, you'll think of like Augusta National first, but Muirfield Village is not far behind. This is emulated after Augusta National when Jack Nicklaus created such a golf course. It is a fantastic event annually, one of the more prestigious non-majors on the PGA Tour schedule, even prior to the signature event status. This used to be a big draw for most people. The tournament dates back to 1976, and this is the penultimate signature event of the season. The field this week, we know what we're getting, but we are having the notable absentees of Colin Morikawa, who has cited the rehabilitation of his ongoing back injury. Who will not be this week. Victor Hovland, a former winner of this event, will not be playing as well. Beyond that, you do have pretty much anyone and everyone that were to qualify playing this week. Some former winners, you have Billy Horschel in 22, Patrick Cantlay in 19 and 21, Hideki Matsuyama in 2014, and Justin Rose in 2010. The golf course this week, a par 72 at 7,571 yards, features 68 sand bunkers with water in play on 13 holes. It is known for its long rough and some of the most penal on all of the PGA Tour. It is nearly impossible to hold the firm, fast, and tight bent grass greens when hitting from the rough. As incentive to hitting the fairways along the way, there is an emphasis to around the green play with the inability to hold these greens out of such positions. The course also features the longest proximity of the hole from inside 100 yards from the rough and the second lowest going for the green rate of any course in the regular rotation. Additionally, it features the second lowest birdie rate from the rough. So, need to find the fairways this week, guys. With the need to play from the fairway, players must be precise with their approach shots and hit the necessary landing areas to hold the greens. The greens are firm and fast, but they do not play hard at all. They are actually the third lowest three-putt rate on any regular PGA Tour course in the rotation. Uh, from inside, or excuse me, it is inside the top five and makes from 5 feet to 10 feet. In 2021, the field made 89% of putts from inside 10 feet. It does play with some kind of major-esque conditions to it. Along with the penal rough, another unique aspect to Muirfield Village is the fact that all four par fives are the only holes on the entire course that play at a scoring average below par. Scoring low on those holes are crucial for any potential winner. The greenside sand traps annually result in the longest proximity of the hole lengths of any course in the regular PGA Tour rotation as well. You combine that with these lightning fast greens. You have a big focus on those who are among the tour's best in sand saves. With this, Muirfield also sits inside the top five courses with the lowest scrambling percentage at just 53%. Uh, in 2021, a full 100 yards was added to this golf course, push it to the 7.5, 7.1 previously mentioned mark. This was a renovation performed following the 2020 conclusion of this event. Brand new green complexes were among the restorations as well. So typically each season, Muirfield Village tweaks the fairways, greens, and bunkers from year to year. That won't be the case this season as they made a conceded effort to focus on the increasing the fan experience. Some new digital scoreboards were added, some new fan activities along the way, but the same exact golf course we saw last year is in line for us this week. Jake, anything to add here before we move forward?
Just something to note, you listed out all the previous winners. The one thing that is pretty much in common with them is that these guys can't really putt on a week-to-week basis. Like Patrick Cantlay is known to have yips with the putter, Matsuyama, a lot of these guys. So when factoring into your model this week, just keep in mind that, this is a week that if you're on a guy who just can't seem to find the putter at some of these other places, this is one of their better opportunities on the PGA Tour this season to get over that finish line.
For sure. The separation on the greens won't be as significant as most golf courses are, as mentioned with all those previous stats we littered at you. Jake, I got six guys or seven, one, two, three, four, five, six guys in the betting card. I know we got one crossover. What are you on, four or five of these guys?
I've got five, and we've got two crossover.
Two crossover. All right, let's kick it off here with that first crossover then, Jake.
Yep. Our crossover here is Matt Fitzpatrick, 22 to 1. I believe we both have him at that number. I said to Nate before we got hopped on the podcast, I made my short list of guys that I like this week. There was about seven or eight of them, and then I refined it in the sense of who do I think could actually win this tournament, and that crossed off names like Ludwig Oberg, who I just can't see getting over the finish line with the yips that we've seen all season, and that left Fitzpatrick as the top name on my list. He ranked number one in my model. He has had just an absolutely phenomenal season this year. It's his best ever in his career. He's just he's just knocking stuff down. The irons are clicking beautifully. The off the tee is incredible. His short game has been phenomenal his whole career. The around the green in particular, just everything is clicking. Three wins over his last six starts, one of them being a team event, but even if you consider that, two in his last five. If you extend it out a little further, he won the DP World Tour Championship back in November. So this guy has four wins in his last 12 or so starts. Just incredible, incredible stuff from Fitzpatrick this season. Couldn't leave him off my card this week. He's fourth in strokes gained total, 34th off the tee, fourth on approach, eighth around the green, and 89th with the putter. Again, I mentioned it. The putter is not the end all be all. All of the other numbers are so perfect for Fitzpatrick. This is a really good opportunity for him to win four in his last seven starts. So I really like him this week, Nate.
Yeah, I had no intentions of having Matt Fitzpatrick on my card prior to running my model. Usually I have a few names in mind or circled that, I know are going to probably pop up in the model. Matt Fitzpatrick, of course, topped my model as well, 22 to 1, not leaving that out there. You talked all of his accolades. Even the putting, his 50th on tour in strokes gained putting bent grass again at or ootrough.com. Find strokes gained putting progress type on that website. But yeah, I mean, I took 12 stats in consideration for my model this week. He's top 50 in all of them. I think he's 52 in one of them, but yeah, basically top 50 in every stat. Mind blowing how well he is playing. He's among the tour's best, the world's best. And again, 22 to 1, I wasn't leaving that one out there.
Yeah, Nate, he has three top 10 finishes at Muirfield Village too, and this is the best golf that we've seen him play. So having some sticky course history too, and playing your best golf in your career, it's a collision course to have a really good finish. And we both kept putting him on the card.
And of course, Scotty Scheffler, defending two-time defending champion, back to back, looking for a third straight victory at this golf course. And again, Jake and I like to do this thing where we sit down and we're like, can this guy beat Scotty Scheffler one-on-one Sunday? Matt Fitzpatrick can, and he has done so. So you can check that right off there, and it's pretty scary with the golf that Matt Fitzpatrick's playing at this point.
Yep.
All right, next for me is a guy I can't seem to get right, and that's Tommy Fleetwood, 30 to 1. When you talk about hitting fairways, Tommy Fairway, as he used to be called, Tommy Fleetwood's right there with you. 30 to 1 is a lot of meat in the bone here. He's second on tour and scrambling from the rough. Love to see that. He's fourth in proximate hole from 175 to 200, sixth around the green, 11th hit fairways, 13th bogey avoidance, 15th par 5, 17th scrambling, 30th off the tee. Blah, blah, blah. We know what Tommy Fleetwood brings. We're waiting for that Cam Young type of performance that Tommy Fleetwood. We expected Tommy Fleetwood to come out this season and start littering top fives, runner-ups, win some events here and there, as Cam Young has done all season long. we're still waiting for Tommy Fleetwood to do that. I think this is a great uh, place for him to do that. Again, the putter isn't always the greatest thing for Tommy Fleetwood, but he's 32nd on tour and starts getting putting bent grass in some good form, although latest outing at the PGA Championship, missed the cut, but part of that fifth at the Truist, 23rd of the Cadillac, 52nd of the Heritage, 33rd of the Masters, 10th at the Valero, and 8th of the Players. He was 16th here a season ago, 20th to 2024. Not a ton of course history here, just the last two seasons being signature event status at this golf course. But again, everything you need at this golf course, Fleetwood brings, and we're just waiting. We're waiting for the dominoes to fall for Tommy Fleetwood, and I think this is a great place for that to happen.
Yeah, Nate, I love the play. He was one of those guys on the short list who I ended up just crossing off. I went with some longer names and I only had room for one at the top, which I picked Fitzpatrick. But everything you said, Fleetwood, just I was on him at the PGA Championship. I thought that was going to be his
Same.
breakthrough. He kind of dropped the ball there, missed the cut, but it's our favorite thing to do. Throw that start out. He's had a phenomenal season. He finally got that win under his belt, like you said, and this is a really good course for him to, get right and get that second PGA Tour win.
Yeah, and off golf course, I think majors are easy to throw out, especially like non-master majors because it's different golf courses and the Aronimink Country Club was a unique course. That's not a course that is pretty familiar with a PGA championship or a major of that status at this early in the season nonetheless. So I think it's safe to throw, the PGA championship at Aronimink out the window. Aaron Rai won it after all, and we can move forward.
Yeah. Moving into my second play here, it's Hideki Matsuyama. I got him at 51 to 1. The end all be all at Jack's Place is approach. You need to
Hmm.
have elite irons, and Hideki is that guy. We talk about it at nauseum. If you've ever listened to the podcast and we bring him up, this guy, when his irons are clicking, there is nobody better. He is sticking it 3 to 5 feet to the hole every single time, and this is a place that he's proven in his debut here in 2014. He ended up winning. Is you if you stick it close enough with your irons, you don't need to putt that well because you're just giving yourselves good looks every single time and tapping in, and that's what Hideki's able to bring. His iron play has been phenomenal. His short game has been rather consistent given the course of his history, but the around the green is going to be super important. That's very good. The off the tee this season has been horrendous. That is where it is very scary. But I went to him at 51 to 1 knowing with that baked in, he's won here. He knows what it takes. He knows he needs to dial it back at times, find fairways, be on the right side of the fairway, and then attack with those irons that have been all so consistent throughout his career, throughout the season. And if he misses those greens, the around the green is just phenomenal. He will clean it up. So I'm just putting my faith in the driver in Hideki. I think that this is at 51 to 1. It was a number I couldn't pass up. 29th in strokes gained total in the season, 131st off the tee, horrible. 14th on approach, 19th around the green, and 64th with the putter. So again, if he just keeps the ball in the fairway and dials it back at times, he has the game to iron it up, putt it in, and just take it by storm and win. He knows what it takes to win.
For sure. And we keep talking about the, hitting the fairway and all of that. I mean, there are exceptions to the rule. And, there are only X amount of really consistent straight drivers on the PGA Tour. So a lot of the times these top guys are going to be playing from the rough. And if you're competent out of the rough, as, Hideki Matsuyama is, it's going to go a long way. I mentioned with Tommy Fleetwood and his prowess out of the green and excuse me, out of the rough and going for that. Hideki's kind of the same way, and especially when it comes around the green, Hideki Matsuyama is a wizard, especially out of the sand. He is phenomenal out of the sand. A great play, Jake. A huge number 251 for someone like Hideki Matsuyama, who, we always talk about this. We believe he can take Scotty Scheffler one-on-one when the irons are hot.
Yep.
All right. So again, we just talked about exceptions to the rules. I'm going with another one here. I'm going Maverick McNeely, 55 to 1. What is the, end all be all at Muirfield Village? It's iron play, find the fairways, iron play, go from there. And that's not really Maverick McNeely's game. He's a long bomber with a strong putter, but he did place fifth here a season ago. So I think this is a great place for someone like McNeely to come in here. He is currently ninth on tour in sand saves, 10th in par fives, 20th in strokes gained putting bent grass. Again, elite number there. 27th approximate hole from 150 or 75 to 200. 31st around the green, 45th in scrambling, 50th off the tee. The approach 104 there, hit fairways 131. But he placed 18th in his last out of the PGA Championship. Proud of that, 37th of the Truist, 30th of the Cadillac, 16th of the RPC Heritage, 18th of the Masters, 21st of the Valero Texas Open. And again, the fifth place finish here a season ago. So he knows his way around this golf course. And again, there is what we want out of this golf course and what we want out of the golfers to come here. But if you're a long hitter who can just hit the ball further than everyone else, and then you have these shorter out of the rough approaches than a mid-tier hitter who misses the green, you're going to set yourself up a bit better. Again, exceptions to the rule. I think Maverick Neal at 55 to 1 with a top five here a season ago is a very valuable play.
Yeah, Nate, I like the call. It's one of those that if you play this course enough, you know how to manage the course. And that's part of it every single week, but especially at Murrayfield Village, if you can manage this course well, yeah, you might not have been hitting your driver in the fairway all season long, but you could dial it back. You could go mini driver, you can go three wood. These guys have much more control over those clubs and find the fairways when they need to. And McNeely proved that with a fifth place finish here last year. He knows how to manage the course well. He could bring that this week, and he's got the putter to score. So I like the call there. Definitely not going to be on the most tip chart, Nate.
No, for sure.
Moving into my third play here, it's Justin Thomas. I got him at 56 to 1. He did not rank high in my model. He ranked 49th in my model. I was scrolling through the odds list and I said, Justin Thomas at 56 to 1 just feels like a stupid number, for lack of better terms. This guy has rounded out his form extremely well over the last couple weeks. He's coming back from injury last year, but over the last 4 weeks, a 23rd at the Cadillac Championship, a 13th at the Truist, a 4th at the PGA Championship, and a 13th at the Charles Schwab. The irons have been clicking all 4 of those weeks. He's been driving the ball phenomenally all 4 of those weeks, and the around the green and the putter have seemed to cooperate enough for him to score and place well. This is a guy who he's a 13-time PGA Tour winner. He's a two-time PGA Championship winner. So he's a two-time major winner. It just feels like he's rounding himself into form, and 56 is too big of a number for me to leave on the table. He has a complete mixed bag of results here. He has a T4 back in 2017, a T8 back in 2018, and then an 18th in 2020. Outside of that, not much to speak of. But again, this was more of a gut feel of the numbers just too big and the upside is there for Thomas. 46 in the strokes gained total, 59th off the tee, 72nd on approach, 24th around the green, and 90th putting on the season. But if we shrink that sample size down, I think those numbers are going to be way higher. And he's just playing solid golf. I think he's ready to win again. He's going to win this season, in my opinion, and I think it could be this week.
For sure. And what we know about Justin Thomas when he's at the top of his game, it's an elite iron play with elite around the green play, a deadly combination here at Muirfield Village. The putter again can be some less to desire, but don't need a strong putter to win this week. Love to play in a big number as well for someone that's won on the PGA Tour. What was it, 13 times or 12 times, just as Justin Thomas has.
Yep.
All right. I'm going to roll the dice here. Jake Knapp, 66 to 1. I think this is a great place for Knapp as well. Again, why? Because he's been littering the top of the leaderboard all season long. 74th in his latest outing, but he was injured there at the RPC Heritage. He placed 11th at the Masters, 6th at the Texas Children's Houston Open. Missed a couple of players, but 6th at the Genesis, 8th at Pebble, 8th in Phoenix, 5th in Farmers, 11th in Sony. He's first on tour in scrambling from the rough. Love to see that. He's also first on tour in par 5 average scoring. He's 20th in bogey avoidance, 23rd on approach, 24th in scrambling, 45th approximate hole for 175 to 200, 53rd off the tee. There isn't a real glaring weakness in Jake Knapp's game. Maybe 108th in strokes gained putting bent grass, 129 out of the sand, but 72nd 77th around the green kind of makes about the sand number there. The putting we kind of gets evened out here at this golf course. The approach play, everything else for Jake Knapp. He is a phenomenal rough player with elite irons, 66 to 1. And I know that wrist injury is lingering. We haven't seen him since that happening, but that's baked in the number here because typically you're finding Jake Knapp at 35, 40, 45. We're getting a big number at 66 to 1. And this is a great venue for Jake Knapp to have a chance to finally get on the PGA Tour's winner circle. He last played his event in 2024 where he missed the cut. So again, 2 years ago with Jake Knapp's career, he's still on the younger side, still trying to learn things out and get himself into the winner circle. And I think this is a prime place for him at a big number.
Yeah, Nate, this is another guy who will not be on the wheel this week just because everyone is scared off with that injury, and that's me included. But Knapp was playing some of the best golf
Hmm.
of his career before that injury. I was so excited to play him at the Cadillac. I told Nate so many times that he was my pick to win, and that was the tournament I believe he withdrew from and hasn't teed it up since. But Again, super, super talented. If he is fully healed from that wrist injury and can keep up that run of form he had before, I mean, you're getting him at probably double the odds he would have opened this week elsewise. So I like this shot here.
For sure.
Moving into my fourth play, it is Alex Smalley at 84 to 1. This number has been absolutely destroyed. He will probably be the most tipped this week, if not for certain be on the wheel here. He has leveled up his game, and it's one of those that he has petered the top 10 and top 5 so much in recent weeks that the win is coming. And normally I would say elevated event. I don't think Alex Smalley could beat the top of the field, blah, blah, blah. We've seen Christopher Ryan win an elevated event this year. We've seen Aaron Rye win a major. Why not Alex Smalley at an event that should fit his game really well? He drives the ball phenomenally, both long and accurate. His approach play has been phenomenal this season, and the short game that has tend to give him issues throughout his entire career has completely flipped. He has been phenomenal with the putter. The around the green has been solid too. He's just been playing some awesome golf at 84 to 1, a stupid number. Could not have left that out there. Just something that I think a lot of people, if you hit the market early, you're going to be on. But 11th in strokes gained total, 54th off the tee, 17th on approach, 56th around the green, and 30th with the putter. His worst ranking there is 56th around the green, and you're getting a player at 84 to 1 with those stats. It was not something I was in the business of leaving out there. That being said, he will probably finish dead last, but I'm taking my shot. That's it. I have to.
For sure. And Alex Smalley, he is definitely a statistical darling, and he's going to be pretty much anytime he's on a golf course, especially in the run of form he is currently in, he's going to be in the most tip chart because everything is adding up for Alex Smalley. He's a guy I've bet on for years, and I'm a bit burnout, I guess you could say, on Alex Smalley because I've bet him so much and there's been so many close calls and so many stagnant rounds that kind of kept him out of things. But the stats are there, the performances are there. And as you mentioned, we've seen Christopher Raitan's rookie in the PGA Tour win a senior event. Aaron Rai out of nowhere win a major. The chances are there. I think the tour is wide open at this point. Scotty Scheffler isn't the killer that we saw a season ago. Things are a bit wide open, and I would not be surprised, honestly, if Alex Smalley were to win this event. I would be a bit brokenhearted because of the FOMO, but there's a real chance I could see him win this event.
Yep.
All right, Jake, our next one in your final play will be our crossover. So I'm going to make a big jump to a super long number here. I'm going to talk about it. Brandt Snedeker, 600 to 1. This is a golf course where we could see some of the older, shorter hitters on the PGA Tour contend, and that's right up Snedeker's alley. I mean, he's currently first on tour in both strokes gained around the green and sand saves. He's fifth in the proximity hole from 175 to 200, 19th in scrambling, 23rd in scrambling from the rough, 28th in hit fairways, 32nd on approach, 37th in bogey avoidance, 42nd in strokes gained putt and bent grass. Again, 158th off the tee, but that's because of the severe lack of distance. But he won the PGA Tour not that long ago. I know an alt-field event at the One Flight Myrtle Beach Classic, but let's not forget that Aaron Rai was in that field as well, and then the next week goes on to win a major championship. Brandt Snedeker I mean, I'm not just saying this because he's on my betting card. There is a real chance that Brandt Snedeker could win this golf event. Missed the cut in 2024 here, but placed 41st in 23, 16th in 22, seventh here a season ago. Not even playing as well as he's playing right now. He had a top 10 finish here a season ago. 600 to 1. Of course, great form outside of winning the one flight. 30th at Zurich, 39th at Valero, 18th at the Valspar to litter some stuff there. Top 10 a season ago. Everything you need to do at this golf course, he does well. Win recently, 600 to 1. Why not? Seriously, why not?
Nate, I've got nothing to add because why not is right. I mean, that's a huge number on a guy who won just a couple weeks ago on the PGA Tour. It doesn't matter that he's 45 years old. He also had a good finish here last year, like you mentioned. So that's all you, Nate. But 600 to 1, that's a massive number. That's a couple dollars to win a vacation.
For sure.
Moving into our both of our final plays, this guy I had circled for this event due to his run of form. It's Nick Taylor. I got him at 150. Where did you get him, Nate?
150.
Oh, cool. Okay, all right. So we're at the same number here. His run of form recently is what spiked my attention. It's the ninth at the Cadillac Championship, followed up by the 14th at the Truist, and then the 26th at the PGA Championship. Yes, that is moving the wrong direction, but those are, for lack of better terms, three top 30 finishes where this is a guy who it just seems like he's an annual winner. He wins
Yep.
once a year on the PGA Tour and he checks the box and you're like, "Oh, doesn't really surprise you." And he usually takes those tournaments in dramatic fashion or by storm and he wins and it's not surprising. He won the Sony Open in 2025, the WM Phoenix Open in 2024, WM he was the runner-up at the WM Phoenix Open in 23, but anyway, he won the RBC Canadian Open in 2023. Anyway, he's gained on approach in 12 straight starts. He is accurate off the tee. The putter has cooperated super, super well over the past couple of weeks. He's gained over a stroke per round in his last two starts with the flat stick, and the around the green is very, very competent. It just makes sense for 150 to 1 to take your shot on a guy who has proven he has win equity at these big tournaments. 38th in strokes gained total, 119th off the tee, 31st on approach, 10th around the greens, and 84th with the putter. Again, if he finds those fairways, everything else is clicking in the right direction for Nick Taylor, and he can take Scotty Scheffler on a Sunday. I know that might sound a little crazy, but I really do believe that if it does come down to it, there are a lot of guys on that list that I am more scared of going up against Scotty Scheffler than Nick Taylor.
For sure. And again, 150 to 1, again, why not? Because that's a massive number. You talked about it. Nick Taylor's a special place in my heart. I had him at the Sony where he hit 120 to 1. I had him at the RPC Canadian Open in 23 where he hit 75 to 1. I don't know if maybe he's going to tone it back this week, with the Canadian Open being a week from to or next week. But everything matches up. This is an exact golf course for Nick Taylor to come out here and compete. Massive number, proven winner, win in the last 3 seasons, each of them. So why not at 150 to 1? Love to see the double up. I assume he's going to be on the wheel as well, possible. But again, huge, huge number for Nick Taylor.
Yep.
All right. Anything to add here about this tournament, Jake, before we move forward?
Nope. I think we covered it all.
All right, let's move over to Amsterdam. We have the KLM Open on the DP World Tour. This is the final event before they break for the US Open, so no event on the DP World Tour next week. This event dates back to 1912, so this is the 106th playing of the KLM Open, or the Dutch Open as formerly known. Has been a part of the European Tour since its inception in 1972. 13 different golf courses host this event, with the Hilvermouten Golf Club hosting it the most at 30 times. The International Amsterdam will host again this season for the fourth time. This will be the final event. 24, 25, 26 also hosted in 2019 here. A new host course will take over next week. But the KLM Dutch Airlines, the sponsor of this week's event, has also been one of the tour's most loyal sponsors, supporting since for the 30th season in a row here. KLM has. We have a strong field this week. A lot of people using the final tune-up for the U.S. Open, those who have qualified. So we have the Jaden Shappers, Casey Jarvis, Andy Sullivan, Dan Bradbury, Mikkel Lindberg, Daniel Hillier, Julian Guerre, Jorge Campillo, and Callum Hill leading the line here. Sean Norris is the only member of the top 10 of the Race to Dubai standings to not be playing this week. Josh Luton is the highest ranked Dutchman, or is the last Dutchman to win the KLM Open, doing so for the second time in 2016. So it's been 10 or 11 seasons since we've seen a winner from the homeland take this title down. Also won in 2013. He'll be back this week to defend look for his third national title. Darius Van Drill is the highest, ranked Dutchman in the Race to Dubai standings, teaming up this week. Another notable Dutchman includes Mike Torup. Connor Syme comes in the defending champion. He topped Joachim Lagerin by 2 strokes a season ago. Both golfers will be back this week. And Guido Migliozzi won here in 2024 as well as a former champion. So the International in Amsterdam, Netherlands will play host this week, as previously mentioned, a par 70 at 6,915 yards, and promises to test every aspect of the golfer's game. Designed by Ian Woosman and opened in 2012, the course sits near the school airport. Some may argue too close. Fitting, though, as the KLM continues on as the tournament sponsor. In 2014, the International hosted a tournament on the European Senior Tour, also hosted the KLM Dutch Open in 2019. It also has played host to this event for the past 2 seasons. Features plenty of water hazards and bunkers to test golfers off the tee. Water comes into play on 10 holes as much as the sand, and much of the sand comes greenside. It features several dog legs and a number of blind shots. Many of the holes are also bordered by a plethora of mounds, which adds to a sense of seclusion on each and every hole this week. The greens this week are both large, fast, and well contoured. The greens, due to their size, offer a large selection of potential pin placements throughout the week. The 11th hole was a very easy par 4 during the 2019 play of this event. It has been since moved to a now harder par 3. In all, most of the golfers' game will be tested this week. On top of the challenges the course has to offer, golfers too must deal with the noise of planes landing and taking off at the nearby Schuylkill Airport right next door. Anything to add here before we move forward?
Nope, I think you covered it all.
All right, Jake. I have five. I believe you have four, and I think there's one crossover along the way.
Yep.
So I'll kick things off here with the guy I love to kick things off with, and that's Daniel Hillier, and he's going to win the DP World Tour sometime sooner rather than later. He is too good of a golfer not to. He's had such a great season, 20-1 here. He's got names as Angel Ayora and Jaden Schapper above him. He's currently sixth on tour in both green regulations and approach. He's eighth off the tee, 14th in birdie or better, 16th in tee to green, 20th in putting, 34th in accuracy, and 53rd in scrambling. He did have a tough stretch of three consecutive missed cuts between the Volvo China Open and the Sudal Open, but he bounced back with a seventh place finish last week at the Austrian Alpine Open. Love to see that. Earlier this season, he placed 20th at the Qatar Masters, 4th at the Babco Energy's Bahrain Championship, 26th at the Hero Dubai Desert Classic, and 2nd at the Dubai Invitational. And he also placed 26th at this event a season ago. So 20-1 lead my card here, Danny Hillier. He's been a staple, right? I've been waiting for this guy to win. He's too good of a golfer not to win the DP World Tour so far this season. Had a decent performance at the PGA Championship as well along the way. Love to see it. We'll see what happens this week, but Danny Hillier 20-1 to kick things off.
Yeah, Nate, can't fault you. He's your guy. 20-1 is more than a stomachable number, especially on a guy of this talent. He's kind of fallen in the range of Iora for me, where he's super talented. I know he's going to win very soon, and that's the week where I just stand up and clap, and I'm happy to not be on him and, to see a young guy succeed. But again, just 27 years old, grinding his way through a bunch of great finishes, like you mentioned. Can't fault you for going there. He's your guy, so I fully support you there.
100%.
Moving into my first play here, I mean, you can call me the biggest hypocrite on planet Earth for this play here, but it's Jacob Skov Olesen 30-1, another young guy who has proven that he cannot win yet, but a little bit more of the odds here at 30-1. I was accepting to those, and I think that his win is coming very soon as well. He's just been playing really well, super well rounded. Recently, he had a 26 last week at the Austria Alpine Open, but week before that, finished runner-up in Sudal. A couple weeks before that, a fourth place finish at the Turkish Airlines Open, finished fourth at the Zurich Classic in New Orleans on the PGA Tour. Has played really well this season. Played this tournament last year, finished 19th. It just feels like the stars are aligning at 30-1. I was happy to take my shot there on Skov Olesen. 29th in strokes gained total, 56 off the tee, 86 on approach, 21st around the green, and 15th with the flat stick. So the game is there for him. The win is coming soon. Whether it's Ayora, Hillier, or Skov Olesen, all three of them are going to be winners. All three of them are going to be very successful. I just went with the one with the biggest odds here.
For sure, and JSO, another young Danish golfer, the kind of up and coming horde of them coming through. We've seen a plethora of them along the way, but yeah, I'd love to see him, succeed. I'd love to see him win. I'm not on him this week, but again, another guy that since he's kind of burst onto the scene out of the Challenge Tour a season ago or 2 seasons ago at this point, I lost track of time. He's been up there in odds, along with the Daniel Hilliers of the world and the Angel Yours. All those guys have had limited odds just because they're talented golfers. They haven't proven they can win yet, but he's on that list. So we'll see if one of us is correct this week, Jake.
Yep.
All right, here's that crossover I alluded to earlier. Nathan Kimsey, 43-1. Where's your number at, Jake?
Yep, same one.
All right. So again, this is another guy I've been on a lot recently, and he continues on with his great form. 17th last week in Austria. He was 8th at the Sudal Open. Missed the cut in Catalonia, but placed 29th in Turkey and 6th at the Volvo China Open. He also placed 13th here a season ago. He is currently 6th on tour in accuracy. He's 7th in green regulations. He's 8th tee to green, 9th off the tee, 24th in scrambling, 42nd on approach, 44th in birdie or better, and 107th in strokes gained putting. A big number, right? 43, in my opinion, is a big number for someone like Nathan Kimsey. Waiting for him to get that victory this season. Really close. He's been there a few times, but the stats line out perfectly. He is top 10 tee to green. He's top 10 green relations. He's top 10 off the tee. He's top 10 on approach or top 50 in approach. He's a top 10 accuracy guy. Checks the boxes that we need this week. Jake has, proven with both of us being on him.
Yeah, Nate. And over the last couple weeks at the Soudal, he gained a stroke per round with the putter. At the Austrian Alpine, he lost very, very slightly per round, and that's his biggest weakness. So if he's putting to even or positive, it's coming for him. And like I said, with Justin Thomas, I loaded up the odds board and I was just like, this kind of feels like a silly number. I have to take it.
For sure. All right, I'm gonna keep rolling my next one, Jake, so we don't, pop out of order here. Dan Bradbury. This is my first click this week, 50-1. Love this play. Currently 11th on tour in birdie or better. He's 12th tee to green, 16th on approach, 19th green relations, 20th off the tee, 40th in accuracy, 93rd in putting, 103rd in scrambling, 6th in his latest outing at the Australia Dam Catalunya Championship. After he missed the cut, the Turkish Airlines Open. Prior to that, 59th in India, 17th in Hainan, and won the Joburg Open. Placed seventh here a season ago, missed the cut in 2024, but along the way, this is guy is another, top 15 tee to green. He's a top 16 approach player, 20th in greater relations. He gets birdies in a hurry, a proven winner doing so this season already. Love to play 50-1's a massive number, in my opinion.
Yeah, Nate, he was one of the first off my card. I went a little bit of a different direction here, but three-time DP World Tour winner. He is a young guy, 26 years old. He will make his way onto the PGA Tour. I truly do believe that. If it isn't this season, it'll be very soon. But like you said, win at the Joburg, continuing that good form, just a lot of boxes checked for Bradbury, and 50-1 is, you got to shout out some of these guys that are in the field like Sami Valimaki, who are just like randomly juicing the odds for some of these guys. And I think Dan Bradbury falls into that category of definitely has the ability to win this week.
Yeah, I love to see those random guys making appearances. We saw it last week.
Sepp Straka.
Sepp Straka just boosts everyone up, and then we get a winner at 52-1. Like that would have been a 40-1 if Sepp Straka wasn't in the field. So I love to see this when the live guys or random PJ Tour guys hop over and hop in to try to get themselves some points here or there. But yeah, I love to see it.
Yeah, speaking of which, my first click, as he is most weeks, it's Eugenio Chikara, 40-1. That's just a ridiculous number on a guy who is uber talented. He does not have a win on the DP World Tour this season, but you could some people bet him and they're disappointed by these results because it doesn't really feel like he's in contention, or he is randomly in contention like the Hero India Open and just completely punts it away. But since that runner-up finish at the Hero India Open, he has played some phenomenal golf. 18th at the Turkish Airline Open, 10th at the Estrella Dam Catalunya Championship, 22nd at the Soudal Open, and then a 12th place last week at the Austrian Alpine Open. Playing some awesome golf, 25th in strokes gained total, 30th off the tee, 24th on approach, 38th around the green, and 82nd with the putter. He's gained with that putter in two of his last four starts. Those two that he did not gain were very, very slight losses. So again, an all-around game, extremely talented golfer on the DP World Tour. He got a win last year at the Hero India Open. I think there's another win in the pipeline for him very soon. 40-1, not passing that up on my guy.
For sure. And again, he's your guy. And I went Daniel Hillier, so I went shorter, so I had to go a bit longer with the rest of my card, or he would have been on my card as well, kind of the first guy off my list as well. Again, your guy he's a star. He's a star in the DP World Tour. There's no doubt about it. So got to keep riding those guys.
Yep.
All right, I'm gonna go with a country made of Shakara there. I'm going Jorge Campillo 60-1, seventh of this Venice season ago. He also has continued with his great form as well. Last outing, a second place finish at the Soudal Open, per that 25th at the Estrella Dam Catalunya. He missed back-to-back cut the Volvo and the Turkey. Uh, Throw out the window. He also placed 28th at the Hero Indian Open, second at the Hainan Classic, at 18th at Joburg Open. So dating back to the Joburg Open, he's had two runner-up finishes. He's currently 18th on tour in putting, 20th on approach, so he's a top 20 approach and putter. Don't see that too often. 24th in birdie or better, 28th green regulations. He's 32nd tee to green, 75th in off the tee, and driving accuracy, and 76th in scrambling. A veteran of the tour who's won a bunch at this level, 60-1 with two runner-ups, and this is a guy who fits this golf course well. We're looking for fairway finders with strong approach plays who can roll the rock. And I don't know if there's many better on the DP World Tour with a complete game than Jorge Campillo.
Yeah, Nate, this was a jarring number. This was one where I was like, I don't know how this doesn't get on my card, and I managed to do that. So, but yeah, I will have some serious FOMO if Campillo gets it done. A lot of things make a lot of sense for him this week, and it would not surprise me at all if he gets there.
for sure.
Instead of Campillo, I decided to go with Bernd Wiesberger 47 to 1. I thought that number was crazy, and the only reason why I went with him over Campillo was that win at the Volvo China Open we saw just a couple weeks ago out of him. Yes, having two wins on the DP World Tour in the same season is extremely rare. We've covered that at nauseum if you've made it to this section of our podcast in previous years. But again, he's been playing phenomenal since that win. A 13th at the Turkish Airline Open, a 13th at the Estrella Damm Catalunya Championship, and then a fourth place last week at the Austria Alpine Open. What has been the driver of those? The putter has somehow cooperated with Bernd Wiesberger. That is his biggest weakness week in and week out. And it seems like he's just riding a hot putter. And I'm not ready to let go of that for a guy who has played this course extremely well. He has a seventh place finish in 2024, 46th last year in 2025, but I believe if you go all the way back to his KLM history, this is a guy who has five top 25 finishes throughout his career at this event. 22nd in strokes gained total, 98th off the tee, 8th on approach, second around the green, and 109th with the putter. I ended up going with Wiesberg over Campillo just because of that win, but I think this guy has the knowledge of the land here, of the course, and I think that it could be a second win on the DP World Tour for him this season.
Yeah, it's funny because Weisberger and your aforementioned picks were kind of the first ones off my card as well. So pretty much had the same short list, just opted for the opposite, which
It's the beauty of it.
yeah, beauty of it. And it worked well. Well, we had the crossover last week, so we see if if it's not Kimsey, at least one of us gets in the win column this week, and see if our models are firing on all cylinders.
Yep.
Final play for me this week, I'm going to go along with the American Sean Crocker, 25 to, or 125 to 1, excuse me, not 25 to 1, 125 to 1. Some good stats, though. He's sixth on tour and off the tee, 14th in green regulations. He's 34th in tee to green, 37th on approach, 45th in accuracy, 74th in birdie or better, 134 in scrambling, and the putter is absolutely dreadful, 146 there. So there's no doubt he'll need to find a hot flat stick this week to have a fighting chance. But that is obviously baked in the price at 125. That putter there, 63rd last week at Austria, 41st at the Sedal Open. He missed a bunch of cuts in between there with a 28th at the Hanen Classic and 36th at the Joburg Open. But he's played this course rather well across the last two seasons. He was 19th here a season ago, 21st in 2024. So, two top 25 finishes with some strong stats to back it up with a, sixth off the tee, 14th green relations. He's 35th tee to green, 37th on approach. So strong stats. And again, at 125 to 1, there's not going to be a well-rounded guy ready to come out here, and fire on all cylinders to win. But Sean Crocker, good success here. We've seen him had some, chances in this in years past. So we'll see if he gets across the finish line this week.
Yeah, Nate, to add more fuel to your fire, the putter is abysmal, but if you look at his three appearances at this golf course, he's gained on the greens in two of three of those starts. So this might just be a place where the putter seems to cooperate, he seems to read the greens well, and the stars could align. 125 to 1's a big number.
We could only hope that would go a long way with a season long ROI, for sure. But yeah, anything else here to add about the KLM Open, Jake?
Nope, we covered it all.
All right, guys. So, with that being said, of course, next week we head to Canada for the RPC Canadian Open. The DP World Tour is off next week. So, we'll be back for the Canadian Open. Then, after that, we're at Shinnecock Hills for the US Open. Really excited about that one. Of course, Shinnecock Hills being one of kind of the most famed golf courses in the United States and just has such history to it. It's going to be a great event nonetheless. But Canada next week, then the US Open, then the Travelers from there. But a lot of golf still to come, guys. A lot of big events along in the horizon. So stick around with us. And Jake, we're finding on social media.
Yep, you can find me on X at JakeOOTR. I share all my outright betting cards there. I'd also encourage you to join the Out of the Rush Discord, 100% free with no hidden paywalls. The community includes 275 plus members and is an excellent free resource to have at your disposal. Just reach out to Nate or myself and we'll get you the link to join that.
You can follow myself, Nate, on Twitter at NateOOTR. Be sure to follow Out of the Rough on all forms of social media. Search us on there. If you're watching this on YouTube or listening on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, please hit the subscribe button. It helps us out tremendously. From there, make sure to check out the website, ootrough.com, for everything we have to offer there. There is a ton of free content each and every week from everyone here at Out of the Rough. And again, thank you guys for tuning in, and we'll see you all next week.